Hello everybody, welcome to another tier 6 ship battle as I go through some tier 6s, some of the lesser used ones. Today's battle, I was going to say battleship, but it's not really a battleship, it's a destroyer, is the tier 6 Russian destroyer, the Gnevny. So the Gnevny has fantastic guns. It has really short range torpedoes, but you know, they hit hard enough, but they are extremely short range. The thing the Gnevny has is good speed and good detection circle. So you can see the detection radius there is absolutely tiny. So what we're going to do is use that. Now, they've decided that they're going to go straight into combat with their planes. That's fantastic. No scouting, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, there's nothing like the enemy team counting destroyers and coming up one short to drive a bit of consternation. So what we're going to do is, I reckon my detection radius is better than any of the destroyers out there. So let's hope, because I think there's a Farragut and a Mahan in this. Not that I see them. There you go, spoiler alert. So we're just going to check out, because often they will come down this line here. The enemy ships, they'll try and come down this and do a flanking maneuver into our cap. So we've spotted them, but we're remaining unspotted ourselves. What we're trying to do is see if we can actually sneak in close, get them well spotted. Now our team will fire at them, of course, and our team will get spotted, but our team's nicely bunched up there, which means that they can focus fire down this Bayern. He seems to be making a solo run for it. Now, if I was in any other destroyer with reasonable range torpedoes, I probably would have tried to ping him a bit. But we're in the Gnevny, and by the time I'd closed in with them, he has good secondaries. That would have been my game pretty much up. So I didn't bother with that. We instead stayed out of the way and scouted. Now, at this point, I've got a decision to make. One is their carrier, if you didn't notice before, was quite far forward. Which means he's actually quite a capable carrier player, which is a bit of a concern. So I could either go for that Bayern, because his guns were facing the opposite direction, or try and draw some of that carrier ire away from our friendly ships, because our ships are quite well clustered, although we have a couple of ships that seem to have headed to the north. Their ships, well, they've got a few that are exposed, so, well, I suppose so have we actually. Anyway, for better or worse, there was one lone Bayern down there. I could have nailed him, but then that would have been more ganging up, and I'm sure he's getting thrashed as it is. So instead, we're coming in, and here's a Colorado. Don't like the look of that, because Colorados don't flood very easily. They don't catch fire very easily. Our Mahan has taken down their Farragut. Our New Mexico has taken down their Mahan. So our team's starting to get the upper hand, and there we go. So right in the middle of the enemy cluster is their carrier, and their battleships are all facing the wrong way to be able to do anything about this, which is basically a big YOLO rush. So we fire. I'm actually going to try and close the distance because got to get a fire on them. Hopefully boy put that out. That's nice. That is very helpful, because that means that any floods out of these are going to just do the business. I don't know why he put that out, but of course there's no floods, so there you go. Now I'm a little bit tiger by the tail, because if I stop, his guns don't traverse actually that well, and when I go around to the other side, he's got to train them back on me. He's on fire now. He's used his damage protection, but unfortunately, well, for me anyway, and unfortunately for him as well, he got taken out by some friendly teammates who are now in the cap, leaving them with just 2 battleships. So it was probably fairly lucky that they weren't swarming down towards our cap, because if I'd been down here with basically that carrier and maybe one other ship, it would have been quite a different game. But yeah, but this poor enemy team doesn't seem to quite have had the cohesion required, and we did get lucky. We had basically myself going up one flank, And it is pretty unsettling having missing destroyers if you're a battleship, which may have constrained their battleship movements a little bit. And we had some quite effective players going up the other flank, which of course helped. So, you know, I think that's probably the reason why this battle was over as quickly as it was. So the Gnevny is a great little ship. It's good against other destroyers, or if you're in a fleet, for example, using it as fire support, because it doesn't get targeted much, because it's short range torpedoes means that it's not high priority on the enemy list. But you can do surprise runs and obviously get some pretty nasty hits. Fairly averaging score there from the Gnevny, but still, it's been a while since I played it. Let's have a look at the damage. Most of it was torpedo damage. Main battery damage, well, wasn't as high as I'd expected. Didn't get as many shots in. Anyway, Gnevny, Tier 6 Russian Tech 3 destroyer. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.